Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Angelica and today we will be creating a snowman in watercolor. This snowman. And the paper I have chose to paint this on is Canson Heritage Cold Press. And you can see I have quite a large pad, but I have cut the paper in half because I think it's easier to work in a smaller size, especially if you are a beginner. It can be quite overwhelming to, this kind of size. And the colors that I will work with are White Nights, and I will paint with the 12 colors that their smallest set contains. And I also have this Winsor & Newton gouache in white to create snow. And in the description box below you will find a link to the sketch, so you can just trace it, and the links to the things that I will use in this video. And also there will be 2 links to my previous videos, one with watercolor art supplies for you as a beginner and one with watercolor sets for you as a beginner. So if you haven't checked them out, you can do that. And this tutorial is number 2 this month, and I am going to do 2 more. So also in the description box is a link to the first tutorial that are a winter bird, a blue tit. So check that out. And with that being said, let's start and paint. So for joining me in this tutorial, you will need a snowman sketch on watercolor paper, and the paper I have used are Canson Heritage Cold Press 300 GSM. And you will need White Nights watercolors in their smallest 12 set. You get these 12 colors, so these are the 12 colors I will use for the snowman. You will need some white gouache. I have Winsor & Newton Designer's Gouache Permanent White. I have 2 brushes. These are Daler Rowney Graduate in size 1 and size 4. You will also need some masking tape to tape the paper down. You can also use some kind of like paper clippers if you have that instead of the masking tape, but I prefer masking tape. And I also will use a kneaded eraser to remove some of the graphite on the sketch, so that the pencil marks aren't as visible. So with that being said, I hope you are ready to start and follow me along on this tutorial. So the first thing that we will do is to tape our paper down with the masking tape, and I will do this on a wooden board. So I flip the paper and grab my tape. Like that. And I also add a little piece of tape in the middle of paper. Then you flip it. And press it down. And then I will use my kneaded eraser, and you can use a regular eraser for this, but you don't want to remove too much of the graphite, so I prefer a kneaded eraser for that. And you can remove more of the graphite if you like, so you only see a barely visible pencil stroke, but I will not remove so much because I want you to see my pencil strokes. So now when this is done, let's start and paint. So I also have 2 glasses of water, one for clean water and one for dirty water, and you can only use one if you like. I mostly used one, but I don't want to go up and change water, so therefore today I have 2 glasses of water. I also have an old towel to clean my brush off from excess water or excess paint, and I also have some pieces of paper if I need to remove some color from this paper. This is toilet paper, so yeah. And I have my colors here beside me. So let's start and do this. And we can start with the arms. And I will take my burnt umber and my raw umber. So that I get a nice brown color. And I forgot to mention this, but you also will need a piece of scrap watercolor paper, so you can test out your colors. I will add some more water and make a bigger mix of this. Yes, and with this I will start with the arms. And if you hear some noise in the background, it's just my dog, which name I won't say right now, because then she will just come. She will take that as an invite to play. Hi, voiceover Angelica here. I made a mistake when I pick out my colors from my big metal tin with a lot of white night colors. When I mixed this, I used my red ochre, which I thought was burnt umber, so I was a little bit confused, but I didn't notice until later on in the video. So if your mix doesn't look like mine, that's fine. I made a mistake here and I mixed up another color I I took my burnt umber and I thought it was black, and I noticed that later on also in the video, so just so you know. Now continue to Angelica in the video. And for the hat, I thought we will make this red, but I want a pattern on it to put down first, so I take my cadmium red light and I will try some yellow ochre to mix with that. No, that's not what I want. Let's try some burnt umber and some more red. And a little bit of ultramarine in that. So now I have a little bit darker, a little bit orange tone red. So I will try to go with that and make some kind of pattern. Something like that, and now we will let that dry, and I will take my leftovers from that mix and mix in some cadmium yellow medium to create an orange for its nose. A little bit more red in there, a little bit more cadmium yellow medium. Yes, I will take my orange to the nose. And now we will make a little bit of a groovy, bluish gray tone to the snowman itself, to the snow. So then I take some water. I want a lot of water. And if you have, you can use a droplet like this when you need a lot of water. So, and I will take my blue and a little bit of black. And I just realized that I have mixed up the colors a little bit. Not too bad, but I was a little bit surprised over the burnt umber. That wasn't the color I suspected it to be. So I believe that I have mixed up my burnt umber and my black. So you might have gotten another color for this. I will just pause for a second and check out my colors, and I will be back in a moment. So now I am back and I have figured it out what I did mixed up. So I had red ochre instead of burnt umber. I thought it looked quite weird, but so keep an eye out for where you have your colors. These 12 colors that the smallest set contains, I have them plus some other colors in a metal tin. So sometimes mix-ups can happen, but otherwise it is correct. So now I have my colors properly where they should be. So I will start over with the gray mix. And I realized that I need to do a new swatch card for my colors, so this won't happen again. So now I mix blue and black to make a gray. Not so visible, but that's how I want it. So the thing I will do now is take water, clean water on my brush and put it down on the white parts of the body. And also over its buttons. That doesn't matter. I don't want any water on its scarf, but on its buttons doesn't matter. So you want to put down a layer of water so that the paper stays wet. So, and now I will just dab the gray mix on its body. And make sure that it spreads out on its entire body. And now I will add clean water to its face. And be careful around the carrot if that hasn't dried yet, because then the color from that can spread out. We don't want that. I think that is wet now, So I take the same mix again and just dab it out. And I will take some black and add to the mix, so I get a more gray tone, then a blue, pink that perhaps, and I will add some down here. And under its scarf. A little bit under its hat. Something like that looks good. And now we can add another layer to its arms, and I will redo my mix with the correct colors. So now I get a darker brown color. That's what I thought was weird, that the color wasn't so dark as I wanted it to be. That's the problem when you have a lot of colors and have a hard time keeping track of them. It's a real struggle. Be careful when you put the colors on the arm close to the body, because you can get a little bit of a spreading. I have a small tiny spreading, but I will just let that be. If you get too much, you can take a piece of toilet paper and just remove that. So, and we got a little bit darker arms, and I think that the hat has dried, so we can put some water down and mix some Carmine and the Cadmium red light. And test that out. Quite a light red pinkish color. And I will add a little bit more water to my mix and then just put it down on the hat. And you can see I came a little bit too close to the head. So I will first take my brush in clear water and damp it out on my towel and just try to, no, I can't remove it like that, so toilet paper it is. Just dab off. And I will add some water to the top, the fluffy top of the hat. And take the color again and just dab it on like that. I think I want a little bit of a darker shade to the hat, so I add a little bit more cadmium red light to the mix. Something like that. Maybe I should have that color to the rest of the hat, a little bit darker color, brighter color. So I try to add that to the rest of the hat. It looks quite nice. A happy red hat. And now I will take my hair dryer and dry the whole piece. So now when we have dried it, I will start with the scarf. And for the scarf I want some green. And mix a little bit of green out with water so you don't get such a strong color. So, and I will wait for that to dry, and now I will take a little bit of clean water and put here because I want my shadows here, shadows that disappeared. And then I take some water and just put that in the edge of the gray so the look doesn't look so sharp. And maybe need a little bit more gray. So now we will wait for that to dry. So I did thought that the snowman needs something to stand on. So I will take my clear water and put down beneath him. Some words are quite hard to pronounce if you just don't have noticed that I struggle with some words. So and as you can see, when you tape your paper down like this, you can paint out to the edge. Otherwise, it's normal to tape down on the edge, so you get a white edge. But if you tape down like I do, you don't get a white edge. So, and I will take the gray mix and just dab it. And I try to get a little bit darker color around the snowman. And I also got a little dark color on the snowman, which I don't want. So that seems quite alright. And now we can paint the stones on his stomach, and for this I use pure black. And I think he needs some kind of background. So I will put down some water on my mixing space and take a little bit of ultramarine. And a little bit of blue. And I think a little bit of black. Now I got too much black. We need less black. Then I need to add more blues in there, and then some more water. Yeah, and some more water to that mix. Then I think I will be fine. So, and what I will do now is to add water to the entire background. I think that it is nice that you can put out a background in the end of a piece, because if you put it down first you might not like it, but after you have painted your subject you know a little bit better on how you want the background to look. So now I believe that I have water everywhere, so I will take some of the color and just dab it on. And I can see that somewhere the water has already dried, or maybe I missed to put down in the water there. So let's try again. And then I will just take water on my brush and mix out colors that I have put down. Maybe have a little bit more color and some more water. Something like that. Looks quite alright. And now I will continue with the scarf, and I will take emerald green. And just go over the other green with the emerald green too. To see how that looks like. so I will start with the black on the face. Again, just pure black for that. And then I will add some more color to the nose. So again, cadmium yellow medium and cadmium red light. Try to remove a little bit in the middle so that I will get a little bit of a highlight there. Maybe a little bit of a highlight on the top, the nose. Something like that. Looks cute. And I think I will add a little bit of the gray mix beneath his hat. And a little bit to the bottom of his body. And I was going to add some shadows underneath the stones, but they wasn't dry yet, so we have to wait a second for that, for them to dry. And a little bit of the darker blue mix that we used for the sky to put underneath him. Maybe I need some more black in that, because now I got too much. Add some water to mix that out a bit, and I will switch to my bigger brush. and just try to fix my mistake. And I will take my hairdryer again to dry this. So, and now I will take the light gray mix and add some underneath the scarf. Create a little bit of shadow there. And my dog is very upset with me, if you hear that. And a little bit of the gray underneath and around the stones to create a little bit of a shadowing. Something like that. Now I will take the dark mix again and add under the snowman and a little bit around him. And add a little bit like that. And now I will take my bigger brush and clean water and put the water on the edge of the colors that I have put down. So now I will leave it like that, and maybe a little bit of shadowing on the stones here, just a little bit, dabbing a little bit light gray under, not too much. And maybe a little bit under the eyes, perhaps. And that looks too weird. And again a little bit light gray here under the nose, perhaps create some kind of shadowing. A little bit too much, so I will take my paper and just dab off a little bit. Take my dry brush here and just remove some. And so I feel that it is quite finished. but because it is a winter scene I want to add some snow, so therefore I have this Winsor & Newton designer's gouache, and I will clean a space for it in my palette and add a little bit. And take a little bit water to it and take my bigger brush. And something you can do is to just dab a little bit. Maybe it don't go so well with this brush, but let's try it. Looks quite nice on the wet surface. Maybe I should wet the higher surface also to get a little bit of that effect. That was quite nice. So now, because I still have gouache on my bigger brush, I will just use another brush to do this a little bit quick. This is quite exciting when you're painting because you have an idea in your head, but during the journey you realize that you can do things in another way. So it's not carved in stone, so to speak. Can change your mind and change how it will look. So I will try with my gouache again, see how this goes. The problem with this splatter effect is that I believe I have to clean my camera later on because this stuff goes everywhere. You can also use an old toothbrush for this. And I can just dab some little bit bigger parts on with the brush. But I feel that I will remove the splatter from his eyes because he looks very weird. With that on. So I will just grab my, so I will take my black and add a new layer here. And a little bit on the nose, top of the nose. And just dabbing some to the background. And you can go quite weird with this. No, not weird. You can go quite well with this if you like. Like I am doing right now. But you can stop when you feel that yours look the way you want it to look. And then we can use the hairdryer again. And I will add a little bit more of gouache to my palette. Not add so much water to it, just a little bit. And take my brush and dab it a little bit. Now it's a little bit more visible than before. That can be a little bit confusing with watercolor because they can look quite dark when they're wet, and when they have dried they can lighten up quite a bit. And now I'm nearly finished, and if you see something on your painting that you want to change, you can just do that. You don't have to follow me exactly. And I will take this red mix, I do believe it was the darker red mix, and add it here. When you have a line on the hat. And maybe I should paint the outside of the hat, the outlines. So you can tweak with your painting for quite some while if you feel the need for it. But now I feel that my pieces are finished, and once it's dry you can sign the painting if you like, and remove the tape. And one thing you can do after the painting is completely dry, if the tape are quite hard to get off. The paper is to use a hairdryer because then the glue on the tape are quite easily removed once it's hot. And you can also put the paper to, like, I don't really know the correct name in English, but like an electric heater. Here in Sweden we call them element, and I don't really know if they have a similar name in English, but you can put your painting on a thing like that for a moment until it's a little bit hot and then remove the tape. But just don't forget it and leave it there, because that is not good. So I hope you have enjoyed to follow me along on this tutorial. As you might notice, I'm not so experienced yet with watercolors. I have only been doing watercolors for around 2.5 years, and I don't know everything yet. And as you can see, sometimes I just try some things, and if it doesn't work out, I just try some other things, and that I do believe it's quite a good thing to do. So if you follow me strictly through this tutorial, you have done my mistakes also. So hopefully you did learn from that. So thank you so much for following me along on this tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss my other 2 tutorials that will be coming out soon. So I hope you have a great day, and happy painting, and bye!